Hi, and welcome back to the ChWo. My name is Ivana, and I'm a counseling psychologist. And the ChWo stands for
Talking and Healing
Childhood Wounds. And today I'm joined by an amazing, beautiful, smart, accomplished guest. And her name is, I wouldn't say that, but she'll introduce herself and tell us what she'd like us to know about her. And yeah, you guys will get to meet her and get to feel who she is. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ivana. And yeah. Sana. But I take it, I accept it. So my name is Fransiscah and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Mzazi, Mommy and Me. Mzazi is really dedicated towards ensuring that children are able to achieve their full potential. And we do that in two ways. I know you've interacted with our work quite a bit. We do that in two ways, and one of them is through providing parents with information, resources, and training on how to raise and better care for their kids, from everything from pregnancy to weaning to dealing even with depression in your kids, and even positive discipline, and even just the fun stuff as well. Because parenting isn't always serious, doesn't have to be. And we also have our Budding Leaders program, which is a training and mentorship program for adolescents. So we realize the first part really focuses on when the kids are quite young, but then when the kids grow older, some interventions work better when you interact with them directly. And so the Budding Leaders program provides training and mentorship for adolescents. This is on confidence building, leadership skills development, entrepreneurship, and career progression.
Oh, nice.
It's one of our newest programs that we've rolled out. We have already 1,000 kids who are registered in our program as of today. So quite excited about that.
Yes.
And we really measure impact, and we've seen tremendous growth, around 70% increase in self-awareness in the kids. We've seen 60% reported increase in conflict management skills, 50% improvement even in academics, and a lot of other impact numbers that we keep track of just to ensure that we're really meeting the impact that we wanted. And we run this both in schools, in the communities, working closely with CBOs, and we also have our holiday camp programs as well. We have one actually going to happen in November on both confidence building and leadership skills development. So all of that can also be found on our website.
So if you have kids and you're looking for a place where they can get all these things she said, please make sure. Because you see, your child shouldn't stay at home. It's 2 months. Yes, if your child is in 844, 2 months is too much. You know that? Yeah. I was even thinking my son staying at home for 2 months. Hey. So anyway, so I think you guys should reach out to Fransiscah, Mama Mzazi. You can even see her pin over there.
Yes.
It's saying, I am a budding leader.
Every child who graduates also gets a pin, and we have these really cute purple t-shirts and notebooks as well, and a water bottle, a branded water bottle. So that's almost like a gift for each. Every time you finish, you get a nice gift, in addition to the certificate and of course all the training and knowledge and information.
And even the connections with other kids.
It's so much fun, and it's open to both boys and girls. I know when we started, we focused on the girls first because we felt they were the most marginalized.
That's true.
And we heard everything that parents said, that I also want my boys to be part of this program. So now we have a program for boys that are included as well. And so also the material is customized to cater for
Nice. So now this gift hamper, we can't get it if we're not coming for the program.
No, you have to graduate. It is exclusively for the budding leaders kids. And it has all these cool branding. I am a budding leader, so you have to finish the program.
Amazing.
You have to go through the program.
Amazing. So if your child is there and you want to stop calling them my Lana, my child, calling them a leader, join the Budding Leaders program.
And I do have a nice gift for you. We'll give 2 free tickets to any of your top viewers.
Oh, nice.
Who are welcome to join our November camp. So
if you're my top viewer, do I have top viewers who have children? Comment and let me see who the top viewer is. Yes. And please, if you are here, please look at Mama Mzazi website page, their social media. I will put them below. Follow them and find out what you can get for your child. And also as a parent, they also support parents, and I've worked with them closely, and I just love what they do. And yeah, they support parents. And she's also a parent. Yeah, she has 2 kids and she's very passionate. She's A1. They see that she's so nice, put together, you know. It's not like us who are just happy-go-lucky, but anyway. So she has children, so she's also a parent. So whatever she's doing is a labor of love, and I have witnessed it myself. And so I think you should join it, support it, and get to be in a group of like-minded people, you know. So let me ask you the next question. So which genre of music would represent you as a person, and why?
Interesting. I feel like throughout my life, I've had different genres of music that I've really loved. You know, from when you're very young and you're into all this rock and hip hop, and I think we all have a rock stage, right? But right now, I'm almost at a point where I just want calm and peace. You know, there's just so much going on in the country, in the world in general, and so I just want something calm and peace and mellow. And so I'm finding I'm gravitating a lot more towards pop and soul music.
Nice.
A bit of R&B as well, but something really just mellow, nice, more motivational kind of songs. Yeah, like songs like Am I Wrong?
Nice.
I'm Here. You know, those kind of reflective songs.
So would you say it represents you because you're also mellow, nice, and you know, and motivational?
Well, I'll take it, I guess. Maybe I've never really considered myself as motivational, but I guess so, yes.
Yeah. I think the work we do with parents and children is motivational, and it's coming from a place where you want to help other parents become the best version of who they are, you know. Yeah, so I think that's amazing. So now that we know you're Mama Mzazi, founder and CEO, what do you do on a typical day-to-day? What's your day-to-day looking like every day?
Interesting. So it does vary, but for the most part, I like to start my day very early, at around 5:30.
Okay.
Mostly just to... I'm an overthinker. I am an overthinker. I think I've mentioned this to you before. I have 1,000,001 thoughts going through my head at any time. And so getting a chance to just sit down. So I do this practice every morning, morning pages. And I just jot down 3 pages, compulsory 3 pages.
Wow.
Of each and every thought that is going through my head, the good, the bad, the ugly. Sometimes it's just a song constantly playing in my mind. And I'm just writing down the lyrics in the book. But in that process, I find that it also helps me sort of pick out the key things from the noise, the things that I need to action, the things that I need to do. I also find that I end up going into almost a self-brainstorm session where if I'm struggling with something or trying to figure out how to do our November program or how to introduce this new concept, I see myself almost going into a brainstorm and writing down and building out the system, the structure, the process. Somewhere in those 3 pages, there's got to be a bit of that. And then I'm able to extrapolate that after. And so I like that, just having that moment before the kids wake up, before I get, you know, and before the world just gets noisy, to have a bit of time to just sit and reflect and to just get it all out on paper. And then now I have a clear plan for the day. So from that, I'll then go into planning my key objectives for today. What do I need to do? And then, of course, now I'll wake up, get ready. If I have some time, I really do try to exercise in the morning. But
not every day.
Not every day. But then, from there now, it's getting up, going and having breakfast with the kids. I love having breakfast with the kids, and I try as much as I can to drop them off at school. I really cherish that drive to school, where we're all together with the dad. We're just going to school. We'll do some fun activities, some fun games. Right now they're into tongue twisters and and riddles, and so we're doing a bit of that every day as we go to school. And then from there, it's now the day-to-day, the meeting up with the teams, checking on what's happening. Just having the check-ins, the reports, the documentation, the planning. So now it just goes into the regular rhythm and cycle
of the day. Amazing. I am so wowed. 3 pages of journaling every day, guys. Who can get Do you miss any day?
I do sometimes.
Okay.
I do have moments where I'm extremely exhausted from the night before. Probably I had really late meetings or I was just really busy. So I do, but I try as much as possible.
Okay, not
to miss.
Okay, yeah. Amazing. I love the day. It sounds good and planned out. Yeah. What's your personality type?
This is an actually very interesting question because we do personality assessments in the Budding Leaders program.
Yes,
for
they
the
do.
kids.
Yes.
And the whole idea of it is for them to understand who they are. And so everyone in my team also has to do the same assessment. So I'm going to ask you to guess first.
Which one? In the melancholic, sanguine?
Melancholic, sanguine type.
So I think you're melancholic and phlegmatic.
Interesting. Tell me why.
Because I feel the overthinking, that aspect of being A1, type A, I think it's melancholic. Then phlegmatic, I think you feel, you have the emotions, you have you have that aspect of, feeling. So that's why I would say that. Choleric just doesn't look like you. It's too aggressive. Then sanguine is also, they're charismatic. So and you're more on the thinking side. So I just took a guess. I don't know. The percentages, I don't know. But tell me, am I wrong?
Well, not too wrong, not too far off. So I'm actually a choleric. My core personality is a choleric.
Wow.
So I guess when it comes to work, I'm very, as you said, cholerics are very, and it does sometimes get misconstrued to be almost like a melancholic because they borrow traits between melancholic as well. But I'm a choleric. Followed by a melancholic because we all have a bit of each personality. And then phlegmatic. And then now sanguine is, I think, like a small dot. Like God said, everyone has to have a little bit of everything. So here's your
sanguine. Just take a bit of it.
Take a bit of it. Yeah. But what I've realized over the years is, and even as a leader, you have to learn to also kind of pull a bit more from each.
True.
So I have people who've guessed I'm a sanguine. I've had people who guessed I'm a phlegmatic. It really just depends on what context you met me in.
Interesting. Yeah.
But my default is actually choleric.
It's a very soft choleric.
Yes.
When I compare with the cholerics I know, God knows. Like I think our president is choleric. Anyway, I'm joking. Sorry, President. So, what inspired you to start Mama Mzazi?
What inspired me? So I started Mama Mzazi we officially registered in 2015. And the whole idea of Mama Mzazi just started for me being a new mom. My daughter was born in 2014. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just so confused. All of a sudden, I have this whole human life that I have to take care of. And my mom was out of country and I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I remember doing a lot of research online, trying to figure things out. Every time I'll go and see a doctor, I'll be like, can you give me your number? And then I would hound them after, I just saw a rash. Is it okay? She coughed. Is she okay? And I really just wanted to be a good mom. And so through that, I realized that maybe others would benefit from my information. Probably there are others who don't have the luxury of being able to call a doctor and ask them questions. And so it started as a blog. I was just trying to share information. And then it grew to having training sessions. Parents wanted to come, and then I'll bring in experts. And that also grew further to live discussion forums. We had you join in on some of them as well. And just doing trainings and products and just trying to figure out, how can I support? What are the needs parents had? And as I was learning my needs, I was also trying to anticipate. And then I realized that there are other needs that other parents have which are different from mine. And so I started to talk to other parents and learn from them what are your needs. We did a whole series on special needs. And we brought in parents and experts as well to speak. And the information is on our platform. We had a whole series on depression and mental illness in children, mental illness in parents. And we had a whole session on that as well. Because I realized that there's more beyond what I am struggling with.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted it to be a platform where we had a lot of contextualized information for the Kenyan market, for the African market.
Yeah.
And other parents can access it. I saw at the time there's a lot of parents going on Facebook and asking questions.
True. Yeah.
To, quite frankly, people who were probably not the best people to ask questions.
They ask anyone, yeah.
Yes. And I wanted to bring in the experts themselves to be on the forums and answer those questions directly.
Okay.
So it's almost like you're getting free consultancy, you're getting free advice, because really none of us would be here if it wasn't for a parent somewhere sacrificing. And if these parents didn't have the right skills, if they didn't have the right information, then we have scenarios where you find adults who have certain certain things they were dealt with when they were younger, they wouldn't have certain problems now. And so I just wanted to make sure that parents felt supported.
Yeah. So what we're doing here, we're talking about childhood wounds and healing them. And I think what you're doing is also part of what we're trying to talk about, because I feel like if we can help parents at this point, then they can avoid inflicting childhood wounds on their children.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's actually very connected with what we're doing. So what has been the best and the worst of running Mama Mzazi? What has been the good side and what has been the, you're like, oh no, this is just...
I would say the good side of Mama Mzazi is seeing the impact. Seeing parents, it's interesting because as I've interacted and grown in my career, I've also come across people who are like, wait, you're Mama Mzazi? I used to follow all your content when my child was younger. Now they're in school and they're almost going to high school. And so it's just seeing that impact. Yeah. Like, in fact, anyone who's watching this, I think commenting on people's platform really helps encourage them.
That's true, guys. Yeah.
So please do comment. But yes, so that helps a lot. And just seeing the impact, that's been the best part. And now, with the budding leaders, actually measuring the impact numbers. I think at the time when I started Mama Mzazi, I didn't have the foresight of how to really measure impact. And now that I do, I'm able to really track our impact and just seeing the numbers, seeing the children change. Yeah. From being quiet to being outspoken. Whenever we have a graduation, because after each track we give out certificates, and the girls will come and they'll give me a hug and say, "You've really helped me." I think one girl came and told me that she finished school and she didn't feel like she could be anybody. And I helped her feel like she's someone, like she's worthy. Wow. And it's such moments that you get to see the impact that really just encourages you, because it's hard.
It is.
Running an organization is hard. There are days where you're just like, oh my God.
Why am I here? Why am I doing this?
Yes, why am I doing this? But then when you see the impact of it, it really just motivates you, because I remember when we started Mama Mzazi, and at some point I was wondering, before the Budding Leaders program, I felt, okay, I feel like I'm not fully grasping what we can do with your company. Yeah. And I remember just praying to God and saying, help me know what I need to do next. How can I transition their company to really make an impact. Yeah. And so when the whole idea and concept of the Budding Leaders came about, I just knew and felt like this is my purpose in life. I'm supposed to do this so that these kids can grow up to become CEOs and founders and presidents and creators and innovators, and can really grow the continent. And this is my path in fulfilling God's work.
Amen. What is it? So now, okay, thank you so much. I think we've now understood Mama Mzazi. If you haven't understood, I think omega-3. Sawa. So now we need to go into your childhood memories. What is your best childhood memory? So now we are going to the childhood of Mama Mzazi founder. Yeah, because I think it's good to just see where all this goodness is coming from, Yeah, because all of us have a story. We've talked about people's stories, and I think today now is your turn. Right. Yeah, so what's your best childhood memory?
My best childhood memory was I always love Christmas. I always thought, but December is my favorite. In fact, Q4. Like I remember somebody telling me you love an entire quarter. Yes, the whole of quarter four.
From September.
October, November, December.
Oh yes.
From my birthday to my daughter's birthday to Christmas.
You're living the life.
Yes, I'm living the life. And so I really do love Christmas because during December, my dad was always around. He wasn't traveling as much. The house was always calm. It was always colorful. We always had decorations everywhere. And I remember there was always so much joy, so much happiness, so much good food and cooking. And what I loved about Christmas was also I would on Christmas Day there was always nice music playing, and my mom and dad would dance, and I would go and almost put myself in between them, and then the kids being kids, and then my dad would put me on his toes, and then he would move with me because I was still so tiny. And I just love that, and I try to bring that to my kids. So for me, Christmas is a whole affair.
Oh, nice!
Like I keep buying decorations. At some point, my husband was like, "This is too much."
Like slow down.
Yes. Yeah. I just love that. So that's my favorite childhood memory, and I remember. My mom was especially when we were quite younger, grade 3 downwards. She was always there. She was always there. She would help me when I come from school. She would help me with my homework. She would do my hair, and I now do my daughter's hair. So that's like my favorite childhood memory.
Wow, sounds amazing. Christmas. I mean, as it was food, I don't think decorations were there. But I think that's amazing. Now to look at the other side of the coin. What would you say was your worst childhood memory? The one where you were like, I wish this never happened. I wish I didn't have to go through this.
Right, yeah. I would say the worst childhood memory for me was when my dad died. Right? So actually it was twofold. So we relocated back to Kenya when I was joining grade 4. Okay. And so at the time, my dad was working in Nairobi. My mom was working now up country when she was setting up her businesses there. And so I lost the coming home to have someone help you with homework. And then end of that same year, my dad passes away, and then we relocate up country. And so now my mom is the sole breadwinner, and so she's working throughout. She's always busy. She has 5 kids she needs to put through school, and she's running her businesses. And so for me, I feel like you almost lost both parents. Like my mom was still there, but you almost feel like you're alone. And then your kids being kids, your older siblings are now transitioning into high school, and it was a very lonely time. I remember it was a very lonely time for me, right? And so that I would say was one of my worst childhood memories, that transition. And so in all of it, I think I came with a lot of anger, a lot of resentment. I never really fit in at school. I never really had any friends there. And then I guess I was just going through the motions. And back in the day when you lose a parent, there's no one who comes and talks to you and helps you and checks on how you're doing. It's more of
let's move on.
The Kenyan phrase of jikaze, let's toughen up and
be strong.
And I think I was dealing with a lot as a child, and also just being, I'm not the first one, but I'm also not the last one. I had a younger sibling.
Okay, so you are the fourth
one, okay. Yes. And I felt I also wasn't in a good place to be a big sister at the time as well. And so I regret a lot of that.
So do you feel like, who was the support system since your mom was not at home and that happened? And how old were you? If grade 4 was like 9?
9, 10, yes. I was my own support system. I didn't have a support system. I think when you talk about dealing with childhood wounds, a lot of those wounds I'm now dealing with them. Because I remember now my daughter just turned 10, and when she was 9 last year, I almost went into a panic. And what I realized is I didn't understand why I was going into like this nesting stage where you're trying to get your priorities in order, like you're trying to and I realized it's because she was turning the age I was when my dad died. Wow. And I was beginning to feel like I needed to set her up in case I die. Yeah, wow. And that is what made me realize that okay, you know what,
you need to work on the things that happen.
You need to actually work on this. You need to deal with this because she's not you. And quite frankly, my dad was much older than I was.
Yeah.
So that was the fourth part. At the time. So yeah, I was my own support system. And I think it's just, it's just how African homes were. People didn't really stop to ask about their kids. How are you doing? How are you coping? Most of it would be supporting, I guess, the mom, the widow.
The widow.
But for us, it was, I guess we were considered whether we were too young to really grasp. Yeah.
And among siblings, were you having this conversation and maybe comforting each other about this loss?
I think we were all young.
Yeah.
And all dealing with our own things. I was in primary. My older siblings were in high school. They were trying to figure out themselves who they were. That's still their adolescent stage.
That's true.
You're trying to figure out who you were. And then from there, of course, you're transitioning into life, into university, into... Like, you all have a lot going on. So you don't really have time for that. Because everyone's dealing with their own things.
I hear you. Yeah, and probably because they were teenagers, I think they also had their own emotions that were maybe stronger. Or maybe not to compare, but they must have been having a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, so they didn't know that they should check on the other younger ones to see how they're feeling. Yeah, okay. All right. So how would you say your childhood has influenced who you are as a mother? I know you've said it maybe in some bits and pieces, but maybe just to bring it full circle, what would you say is the influence your childhood has had on who you are as a mother?
I would say definitely I'm a little bit more compassionate now. I try and pick out the good things, like the times with my mom doing homework or making hair, and I try to make my daughter's hair, although it's a battle, but we at the end of it we're all happy. And then I try to be a little bit more present, try to make more time for just family, for love. I go all out on Christmas. Like, there is no budget on Christmas. Much to my husband's horror. But yes, I try to create a whole...
Christmas is your thing, eh?
Christmas is my thing. It is my domain. We go out. We try to have fun. We just try to create these family memories. Like, you cannot reach me. If my dog tries to reach me during, I am no. That is my time.
Like, no way. You do your own thing, but not me.
Not me, right? I really try to create those memories. One thing that I did also realize was an influence from my childhood. I think I tend to overwork, and at some point I realized that my mom was also overworking a lot when she was the sole breadwinner. And I don't know if that maybe we just have similar personalities, but I realized that is also something I carried forward with me. But there, I just try to create those spaces, and also I guess with a lot of modern parents, I also don't do corporal punishment at all.
You don't sharpen?
I don't.
Ever.
Positive discipline.
Like, at all? Even?
Maybe like the ones. But
like, like instant.
But no, I don't do corporal punishment at all. I try to set up positive discipline. Because I've seen the impact that has had on us as kids. Because we were full on.
You were in the thick of it.
In the thick of it, Kenyan household.
Hey.
So I don't do it at all. I try to do positive discipline. So either time out or...
And for those parents outside there who think that it's not possible to, they call it gentle parenting. And, I've seen funny videos of people saying, one day after trying gentle parenting,
it didn't work.
And they're like, Because there's one who said, my left eye is blind, and it's deaf. And like their body is not functioning because of the gentle parenting. So what would you say to a parent who's finding it hard to gentle parent, just from your own perspective?
I think people misconstrue what gentle parenting means. Gentle parenting does not mean do not discipline. It means understanding what works for us. So it really does depend. But you need, first of all, to understand your kids and how they are, right? Like, my daughter, sitting her down and talking to her and giving her a lecture, that will really
do something.
It will have an impact on her. My son, that will.
Yeah, boys don't care if you talk forever.
You can talk forever, but for him, if you put him on time out, or like he's an active child, tell him to sit down somewhere for like 5 minutes or 10. Hapo umemweza. Like, what? You want me to go to my room and
like
sit down
how?
and do nothing? My daughter tell her to go to her room. She goes, she'll lie down, take a book, and she's okay. So you need to understand what works for what child.
That's true.
So it doesn't mean, I think people assume gentle parenting means do not discipline. It does mean discipline, but knowing what works for which child and incorporating that.
And not using violence.
So the thing is, not using violence, not hitting a child. Because I was reading about it, and this whole physical corporal punishment really does go back to colonial era. And we were brainwashed to believe that is the only way you can actually get someone like us to listen. And really, it's the same thing you do to animals, right? That's how you train animals. Yeah. So
assuming there's no other way, but there is. Yeah.
So
please don't be a violent parent. So the next question is, what family values have you borrowed from your family of origin, and what are some that you have done away with completely? So the ones that you just borrowed and said, okay, fine, these ones are good. Then there are some that are like,
one that are good for sure. I think for me, I'm a hard worker for sure, and I believe in working hard and smart. And that is something that I've seen in my own childhood with my parents. And I also believe in having fun. And I would like to say we do have we are a fun family.
Nice.
We joke a lot, and so that is something I also try to bring into my household
from your family.
From my family, what I don't do, as I mentioned, the corporal punishment for sure is something that I don't believe in. And then also, I think growing up for us, it was all books. And for me, I tried to bring in the element of being all-rounded. Yeah. At the time, focusing on arts was not considered a thing.
You're like, how?
Yes. And I tried to bring it in terms of like making my kids explore. My daughter loves to draw, she loves to play the piano. So I try to encourage that more. What I find they take an interest in, I encourage. Yes. And I think for us growing up, children were seen and not heard. I have a very loud household, very noisy. I love to just hear about my kids' days, about what they've gone, what has happened. And so those are some of the things I try to also bring. And I guess it's also the element of all African culture and just what was the norm then. I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I just think that was the norm. Yeah. But it's not something I want to do as a parent.
I think some were dysfunctional. Yeah, and that's how we were staying sane. That's how the parents were staying sane. Yeah. But I think now parents can go for therapy and let their child talk at home. Anyway,
Exactly. I think that they probably needed that kind of setup based on what was happening.
They couldn't handle a child who's talking back or a child who was loud, So they just thought, okay, you just keep quiet. I'll talk. I'll do the talking. I'll be there. I think they were coping in that way. But it was unfortunate for the children at that point, Yeah. So the second last question I have, who or what has been your support system all through your okay, you said your childhood was cold, but who has been your support system maybe since you emerged from childhood till now? Mama Mzazi, amazing stuff. Who has been your support system?
So now I'll say my family is actually my support system. My husband is very supportive. He's been helping Mama Mzazi from the very beginning. He's the co-founder and he's been very encouraging throughout it. And we've really balanced parenting and all the other things that we're doing well. My mom actually does, she's watched a couple of our talks, our shows. Nice. And she's there a lot more now. My siblings as well. So I'll say at least now I have a very close-knit family. I think now that we've grown, we've become closer now as adults, and even our kids play a lot together. So I'll say there's that, and also I have a lot of close friends, a lot of people I can lean on to come in, to help, to guide, to offer support. So yeah, I'll say I'm incredibly blessed, because even the family I've married into, my husband's siblings, they are very supportive of all of our work. They register for our programs, they give advice, they act as mentors, and so just both families, because we both come from very big families, and then also the friends I have has really helped.
Wow, amazing. I think that's very important, because I feel that's the success you can achieve. It depends on the support you have from other people. If you're not supported, then you can feel very alone and be like, oh God, I'm giving up. Even the days when you're asking yourself, why am I doing this? If you're alone, then I think you're just like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I think that's amazing. The last question, what advice would you give a parent navigating their own childhood wounds?
I would say it helps to identify what your wounds are in the first place. Acknowledge it. I think we had a lot of moments where you tend to sweep your wounds under the rug, you put them in a box. Sometimes say some things you just put them in a box and hide them away.
And I'm not dealing with you.
I'm not dealing with you. Yeah. But it helps to actually identify what your wounds are. And when you can identify them, you can then understand why certain things trigger you the way that they do.
True.
Or why just work through them. I've heard people who are like, I just do not want to revisit that, but it will come up. And that thing you've hit somewhere will eventually, like the box will either explode or something will happen. And so it helps to take a moment to actually just sit and think about it and identify what happened, and then how can I get out of this? And the thing in the age of internet, there's a lot of information out there, which can really help you through it.
True. And you can come for therapy if you need it, and you can go for Mzazi talks and meet other moms, and also drop your child at their holiday camps. But thank you so much, Fransiscah, for being a lovely guest, for giving us so much information.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for being so open with your own experience. I love the fact that you are open. Most people are not open to talk about their own experience and just show themselves as the strong person. But thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we look forward to engaging with you more. So thank you, guys. Please follow Fransiscah. Please go for Mzazi talks, and please take your child for Budding Leaders program. Please tell us your socials.
Yes, our website, you can find us at mamamzazi.com. And then for our socials, we're both on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So Facebook, Mzazi, Mommy and Me. And then Instagram and Twitter is at mamamzazimm.
Thank you so much. Enjoy, subscribe, share, and see you next time.